Patrick takes the snap, drops back, lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! Eric Decker scores! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
This is the Jet Take with Ben Blessington and Kyle Fahey.
Welcome back to another installment of the Jet Take. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Blessington, and yes, Mr. Fahey, also known as Mr. Money, has returned. We're going to introduce him here in a second. It is our kickoff weekend special. We're going to have Victor Green on the show in a few minutes or seconds, I guess. And then we're going to have NY Jets Fans Only, Instagram, Twitter, really just like Jets page with about 50,000 followers on the show after Victor. So a pretty jam-packed episode. As always, we're going to have the callers on. We're on Twitter at the Jet Take. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. Obviously, iTunes. We're all over the place. So make sure you give us a follow. And as always, you can call in at 1-515-739-1020. Enter the PIN 261860, and then with the pound or hash sign. All right, so now it's time to bring on my co-host. He's been gone for a little bit for his family reasons, so we haven't had an episode together for a couple of weeks now because I was in Europe, and then he had a whole issue. But he's back. We're ready for the regular season. We're in regular season form. So, Kyle, you're Mr. Money, man.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Kyle, I hate to say it, but I've really missed playing that song for you, man.
Oh, I'm glad to be back, Ben, and I really hope you did miss me, because I'm going to be honest, the show did drop off.
No.
I do.
Okay, fine, Kyle. You know, we haven't had a show together for a while, but as I said, we got Victor Green on the line, a former Jet safety. He was with the team from 1993 to 2001, and he does some fantastic charity work, so we're going to talk all about that. So, Victor, how you doing today, man?
What's up, Ben and Kyle? How you guys doing?
We're doing awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show. Well, let's start off. Sorry. Let's start off. We'll talk a little bit about your playing days, and then we'll talk about your charity that you do. Because I mean, man, you weren't only just a great player. You're a fantastic businessman. I got to hand it to you. You really know your stuff. And then we'll talk about the current Jets. So does that sound good, man?
That's good. Let's do it.
All right. Well, I want to start back in 2000 because Todd Bowles, the current head coach of the New York Jets, was the secondary coach when you were there. What impressions did you have of Coach Bowles?
You know, I love Coach Bowles, man. Coach is he's an even keel type of a coach. But he got a little fire to him. I mean, you light his button, he can go off on you, but he just always been that even keel type guy, just always soft spoken, but he always get the job done. He's a very aggressive coach, and I really like having him as my secondary coach because he was somebody that you can talk to, that you can relate to. He know the game, he played the game, and I just like him, and I like what he's doing with the Jets right now.
Now, is he one of those guys when he was your secondary coach that you knew someday he was going to consider being a head coach, or is it one of those things where he just kind of evolved and got better as he went on?
I think a little bit of both. He's you saw that he was a very smart coach. He was very smart, and I think it was just a matter of time before he got that opportunity. You can kind of see him in the background, talking to Belichick and those guys about what we should run. So it was just a matter of time before he got that opportunity, and it came to him, and he's taking advantage of it.
I mean, you mentioned it right there. Todd Bowles is a very smart guy and still is. And, as Jets fans, I think this is one of the better regimes we've had, really. I mean, you could go back to Parcells. I like some of the things that Rex did in his first few years, but really, I think this is the most stable, regime we've had with Maccagnan and Bowles for a while. But you touched on it. I mean, you had quite a few really good coaches. What was, like, the biggest thing that you learned from you played under Bowles, as you said, you played under Belichick, you played under Parcells. I mean, you had a lot of great coaches around you, and I mean, that must have helped you a lot as a player. So what was, like, the number one thing that was just ingrained in your mind from all those great coaches, started by Parcells?
Do your job. Do your job. I mean, they couldn't emphasize it enough, and it came from Belichick on up. Do your job. And it was so focused on fundamentals. And I think that's the key to being a really good player. Knowing what you got to do. Don't make MEs, which is mental errors. And you can be successful. And those guys really hopped on doing your job. Everybody's job was specific on, running that defense and being successful as a defense. And I think that's the biggest thing that you learn. If you did your job and you knew what you had to do, then you was going to be in a position to make plays.
I mean, that's something we hear Belichick say all the time, and I think that's key. I mean, if everybody does their job, then the whole team as a whole should be looking good. Well, let's talk a little bit about a current Jets safety, Calvin Pryor. What advice would you give to Calvin about being a young safety in the NFL? He played in New York, or he plays in New York, just like you. What advice would you give to Calvin if you ever had the opportunity to talk to him?
Well, I talked to Calvin, a few times, and he's going to be a really good safety. I like the way he plays. He's hard-nosed type guy. The biggest thing that I talk to him about is taking care of his body. You got the way he plays. The way how hard he hit, it's easily for a safety or any DB, a linebacker that don't take care of their body day in and day out can find themselves on the sideline. And, he's going to be good. He don't need much advice from me, but taking care of his body, watching film, understanding what you're doing out there, understanding what your opponent trying to do to you, those are the biggest things. For him going out playing, he got talent, he got skills, and he can play. So learning your opponent, staying healthy, I think is the biggest thing I can tell him, and I think he can take away from my advice.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Victor, thank you for being on the show. You're very great in this community. You're great in every community, basically, and you live in Atlanta, the Atlanta greater area, and I want to talk about all the charities and things you do for the youth out there, specifically the youth. Why is helping the youth such a big thing for you? What do you want to get out of it, like as a goal? Do you want the youth to get better? Do you just want, the local area to get better? Like, what's the main cause of it for you?
The main cause for me is to create opportunities for underserved kids. And I think if we can create opportunities, and we can increase their minds. We can show them opportunities where they can be better as kids. If you can't see it, you can't believe it, right? So if I can take them to the Jets facility, if I can take them to different types of ventures where they can dream, they can hope, and that's what it's about. And creating opportunities for young kids. And I think if they have opportunities, they can be successful in this world. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell, is to help these kids, be better, see better, and hope for better. And I think if they can have those things there, they can do well in life.
Yeah, absolutely. That's obviously a great reason. And, another charity thing you're doing, I believe it's September 20th, you have a charity golf tournament. Can you tell us just a little about that, where it's going to be, who's attending, and what the purpose of that is?
Yeah, I have a golf tournament September 20th at the Glen Head Country Club in New York, and it's going to be a great tournament. I have like 15 Hall of Famers that's going to be there. Roger Goodell is going to be there, and again, it's just to raise money, for underserved kids. So again, to be able to create opportunities so they can be successful in life, and that's what it's about. And I got, I'm running a couple of raffles right now online where you can buy a foursome basically for $10. You can buy a foursome. You get a dinner for two for a $10 donation. And, we're going to have the raffle drawing on Tuesday the 13th. And so you people out there that's listening, go out there and donate $10. And you can, hopefully win a foursome to my golf tournament on the 20th and a dinner for two at the same time. So it's a really good opportunity for people to get involved and not just talk about, being a part of the solution, going out and really being that solution and helping the Victor Green Foundation help the underserved kids.
You do great stuff, as Kyle said, and I'm unlucky because I live all the way out here in Portland, Oregon, and if you live down in the Georgia, Atlanta area, you should definitely look to enter that raffle. And I was looking at just the celebrity attendees. You got Goodell, you got Dr. J, you got Lawrence Taylor, Franco Harris, Marshall Faulk, Andre Reed. There's just the list goes on and on. So this is definitely a pressing issue, and I think a lot of greats realize it. I mean, you've done some great work for the underprivileged youth. I think the dropout rates have reduced. And even if it's just one kid at a time, I think you're doing great work, and everybody who donates can really help. Maybe if it's just one person's lives, maybe that's multiple people's lives. So again, as I said, great work. Now let's talk a little bit, and we're going to come back to your foundation in a minute. But I have one more thing I wanted to ask about that old team. Do you have any memories or stories about that team? Because I think it's always interesting for fans to get an inside look on a NFL football team. So what's your favorite memory or story from your years as a New York Jet?
I got a lot of fun memories. Basically just the camaraderie of just being in the locker room and creating that family atmosphere with guys you pretty much around 9 months out of the year. I think that's for me. And going out there on Sundays and listening to the fans, cheer us on. New York, I feel, still have the best fans in the world. And whether we 1-15, 3-13, they're out there, cold, hot, rainy. It don't matter. They're out there cheering us on, man. So the memories for me, don't go farther than the fans and the players and the laughter and just being around those guys in the facility every single day.
That's music to my ears, because I feel like the Jets fan base is always one of the more highly criticized fan bases in the NFL, and it's great to hear that the players really do care what the fans think, and they're out there, and I have to say that means a lot. Now, one more thing about this, about your playing days. Who was your biggest mentor during your years with the Jets? Was it a player, a coach, Bowles, Parcells?
You know what? I learned a lot from a lot of guys. Ronnie Lott, James Hasty, guys like that kind of took me under their wings to be a better player. One of the coaches that I don't think he knew what he meant for my career was Bill Belichick. And, I remember going in his office one day and sitting with him and saying, "Hey, Coach, how can I be a better player? How can I, go out there and become, a great safety as I see, that's been out there?" And, so talking to him, he really helped me. He really helped me understand how to watch film, how to study, and things like that, meant a lot for me. So I really take that away, to heart, just Belichick, he's been a big part for me. So, a lot of players, but Belichick is really, stick to me, and in a way that I feel like I got better.
Yeah, and speaking of, you were a young player at one point, and, we got a lot of really good young players on the Jets right now. Who is the young player you are most looking forward to seeing this year?
Darren Lee. I really, our first rounder. I want to see. I know he's small. He don't have the size of most backers in the middle plays. I know they're gonna probably move him around a little bit, but I'm interested to see how draft pick plays. I know we got some receivers that really been coming up, but the young players. I want to see how they drafted and how they did this year. See how all those guys kind of work together this year because, a lot of times the young guys, they, they're a little wide eyes a little bit, and they don't really understand how to be a professional. They don't understand how, the speed of the game on Sunday, and it's not preseason. So, I want to see once that ball snap on Sunday, September 11th, which is going to be another heartfelt type game, I feel. We all know what happened on that day. So, I'm looking to see how they perform when the season starts.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about Bill Belichick, I'm just thinking about, is that the reason you went to the Patriots in 2002 or 2003? Don't know specifically what year it was, but is that the main reason you went there?
Yeah, having an understanding of that system, understanding the familiarity with Belichick and what he wanted out of a player, they had a big part, yes, in why I went to New England. That was probably one of the most difficult decisions, I ever had to make as a player, as a person, leaving the Jets. But yeah, Belichick obviously was a big reason for, going over.
Yeah, there's obviously no shame in, going to a good team with a coach you're familiar with and a system you're familiar with. But speaking of team, are you happy with the Jets team as of right now as a whole? Is there any, glaring needs for the Jets that you can really see, or do you think this is a compete team that can make a legitimate playoff run?
Offensively, I think we're going to be fine. Defensively, in the secondary, it depends on our pass rush. Revis is, I think he's going to be Revis. He got a lot of tough matchup. He started this week with A.J. Green. He got Buffalo, so he got a lot of, Sammy Watkins. He's gonna have his work cut out for him this year. So that secondary is gonna be key. Buster and those guys and Cal and see how they gonna gel together and really play. So if the defense play the way that we expect them to play, I think this year we definitely gonna make a push for the playoff. Well, make the playoff and make and be a scary team in the playoffs. So, but offensively, the weapon is there. I like the addition of Matt Forte. I like that. I think they, with the addition of a young guy at receiver, I think we're going to be fine. And obviously, injuries always play a big part of that. But I'm really happy with the team. I think the coaching staff, as you alluded to earlier, I think this is probably the best regime we had there in a long time. So I'm feeling really confident in the team going forward this year.
Yeah, I mean, this team is arguably the most talented team we've had in years. And Bleacher Report said we're arguably the most talented roster in football, at least on paper. It's all just about, putting it together on the field. Now, purely based off talent and potential, who do you think is more, quote-unquote, talented, this team or the 1998 team you were on?
I think a lot of it's depend on position. I mean, I think our defense in 98 is better. I think our secondary is better. I give it offensively to this team. I think we had a better quarterback in Vinny Testaverde. But, it's pretty similar. That's why I think that, if they can stay healthy and that secondary can hold up, we can do some things in the playoff. And hopefully this is the year, and hopefully Fitz plays really well. He's going to be the engine to that offense. So if he can, not be that Buffalo game, the last game of the year, I think we can be okay.
Now, how far do you see this team going? Because, I mean, you can make the argument this team has gotten better with the additions of Matt Forte and some of the new young linebackers, but the schedule is a lot tougher. The first 6 games, we're playing 5 playoff teams in the Bills, who swept us. So how far do you see this team going? Do you see them as a double-digit win team, a playoff team, or do you see them as more of an 8-8, 9-7 team?
No, they definitely a double-digit team, football team. Off the top of my head right now, definitely 10 wins, maybe 11. And And again, it got to depend. It will depend on the defense. They got to play balls out, because I don't think that, we the type of offense that's going to throw put up 28, 30 points a game. But we're going to be very efficient, and we're going to score points. But our defense can't give up 21, 28 points either. So it's going to highly, rely on our defense and how steady and consistent they play throughout the year, and that's going to be the key on whether getting that 11th win. But I think we'll win our 10 games. Like you said, the division is a lot tougher too, even though that, we feel the team is a little better. Miami got better. Buffalo got better. New England is New England. So within that division alone, we got to win that division. We got to find a way to beat New England and win the division. Without that, it's going to be right back where we were, trying to fight for that last playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, this is the year to do it. Tom Brady suspended, 4 games at the beginning of the season. The Bills and Dolphins have, injury problems and talent problems. So, I mean, if the Jets can, as Darrelle Revis said, get out of those first 6 games with their head above water, they're definitely going to be in a good place. Now, Victor, let's go back to your charity. We took a little break and talked about the Jets, and now we're going to come back to it. How can people donate? You mentioned how people can buy, a meal with, $10 for 2 people, but how are the main ways you want the fans and people in general to get in contact with your foundation and donate and give?
They can go to victorgreenfoundation.org, and you can donate right there on the website, because friend of mine said, hey, I can't do it by myself, but everybody can help somebody, and whether you go donate $5, $10, $2, whatever, we got to find a way as people to stop, looking for reasons, examples, or to not do something. People talk about Kaepernick and all that, hey, he could have found another way to do things, but he's standing for something. He's putting his millions of dollars on the line because he believes in something. So if you believe in something, you believe in the foundation, you believe in kids, and you want to do something, find something. I don't care if it's my foundation, but find something to be a part of. We love your donation at victorgreenfoundation.org. Go there and donate $5, and just think about it. I mean, it's a lot of people in the world. If you just give $1, you can do a lot of things to help these kids, make a life for themselves. And create opportunities for them. So, I'm really excited, where the foundation is going. Got a lot of, people behind us, but we can use more. Go to the foundation, go to the site, make a donation, and really put your money where your mouth is. If you're really about the kids and want to make a change, want to see a change, then you be that change.
Yeah, I mean, football, at the end of the day, is just a game, and I love it. I started a podcast about it with Kyle, but, at the end of the day, it is just a game, and as Brandon Marshall has put it, numerous times, he wants it to be a platform for something bigger, and I think that's something you've done really well. I mean, as you said, underprivileged youth in this society, I mean, they've been pushed almost to the margins of society. I feel like if you do donate and you can help somebody's life and you can inspire them in even the slightest way, that can make the world a better place without sounding too cheesy. And yeah, on the Colin Kaepernick thing, I mean, whether you agree with him or you don't, you have to acknowledge that he got people talking about it. And he basically got what he wanted, and more NFL athletes are sitting or kneeling, and whether you think that's super disrespectful or you think that he has a point, I mean, that's your belief. What do you think about? I'm curious about this. What would your reaction be as a player if another one of your players or another one of your teammates did something like that? Because I mean, Brandon Marshall's been very vocal about that. He might kneel during the national anthem. And what would your reaction be as a teammate if somebody did something like that?
Well, it's hard to say. I have to, ask him, obviously, why is he not, he's not standing, So, once you understand the person and understand why they do things. And, and then you go into, okay, this is him. So I can't, put Kaepernick down for his belief. That's just like the way people pray, when they pray, how they pray, I don't think I think he's, not being, I think he's patriotic. I don't think he don't love America. You hear that. I mean, you hear a lot more things, people talking about the president. I mean, is that patriotic? So if you could talk about the president, how bad he's doing, right? Hey, that's not patriotic either. But nobody's talking about that. So, my hat's off to him, man. If he believes in what he believes in, who am I to say who he is and what he's not doing, what he's about, why is he doing it? As a teammate of mine, I understand why, if I was there, I understand why he was doing it. If that was my belief, maybe I'd join in. If it's not, then, I can't follow him.
No, I mean, I see your point exactly, and I'll definitely be donating a little bit, all my allowance. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that young, but I'll be doing a little pocket change to this foundation, and everybody, you should too. I mean, even if it's $5. I mean, what is that? That's that's a couple Dre sodas or whatever. That's not too much to
that's a coffee.
If you're listening.
That's a coffee a day for some people, right?
Yeah, I mean, and there are people that really need it for sure.
And it's a tax write-off for you. It's a tax write-off for you. So you get to write it off on your taxes. Sam take enough for our money during the year, right? So if you can get something back, $10 or whatever, hey, you get it back. So I appreciate you guys, man, and giving me the platform. I thank God for giving me this platform to go out there and try to make a difference in someone's life. And somebody gave me an opportunity, and I just want to give somebody else an opportunity. And if you just change one person's life, you did your job, because you can't help everybody, you can't change everybody. But my thing is to try to get in front of as many kids' lives if I possibly can. And, if I'm able to change them in the process, then, God bless me.
Yeah, and Victor, you're speaking absolute music to my ears, and even if you inspire one kid, that's really going to help. Hopefully some of our viewers are inspired to go donate. As Victor said, you can go to victorgreenfoundation.org, and you can donate there. You can enter his raffle. You can do all sorts of stuff. He's also at VictorGreen21 on Twitter. Victor, thank you so much for coming on our show today. I have to ask, were you a little surprised at our age? Because that was the one thing I was kind of worried about when I was asking. I was like, is he going to get on and be like, who are these two young kids? Were you surprised at all, or?
I wasn't, man. As a player, my wife, she, even about signing autographs, she told me a long time ago. I've been with my wife for 21 years, and she's like, because I see a lot of guys who just pass by, the fans and all that. She's like, I don't want to ever see you do that, because one day you're going to wish somebody asked for your autograph. So, so to answer your questions, no, because when I can do things, I try to do it, and that's just me. And I appreciate you guys for having me on, and giving me a platform to kind of say what I have to say in terms of my foundation and what my beliefs are. And I just hope everybody continue to support what I'm trying to do, because it's real. If you go to my website, you can see the video from last year, the kids speaking at the golf tournament, and that touches your heart. And when you got homeless kids that's there, that just being inspired, it's nothing else more gratifying than that. Not an interception, not not a win. It's these kids' smiles you put on faces that is the most gratifying feelings for me, and that's why I do it.
I mean, man, thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for the work you said you do. I mean, this is something that's bigger than us, and we really appreciate that we have the opportunity to give you this platform, and you have take time out of your busy day and your busy schedule to call into our podcast. So thank you again, Victor. We'll make sure to tweet out all of your information throughout the year, not just today, because it's not an issue that's just going to disappear tomorrow. So everybody, please go donate. One more time, VictorGreenFoundation.org. Victor, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Hey, Kyle and Jeff, I appreciate you guys, man. You guys be well. Have a great rest of the week.
Thanks for being on.
And that was Victor Green, former safety for the New York Jets. And it's really inspiring stuff there. And I really hope that, I mean, even if it's just a couple dollars, please find a way to donate to that cause, because I definitely think, I mean, one, you're helping out a former Jets player if you're a big Jets fan, and you're helping out a lot of young kids who are underprivileged. Now, Kyle, anything you'd like to say before we go to our next guest?
Yeah, and no, I'm going to be honest, I was kind of choking up there a bit, because he was speaking the truth right there. I mean, there are a lot of people in this country. You know, Ben, me and you are blessed. We sit here every Thursday night. We get to sit here and talk about the Jets. You know, there are a lot of kids who are homeless, starving, and, you know, definitely problems with the country. And, you know, Victor Green is one of those guys who is using his platform to try and change this. And I salute him for that. And he may have just said the best quote I've ever heard in my life. Putting a smile on a child's face is better than everything else. If that doesn't sum him up as a person, I don't know what does.
Yeah, and it's great to have him on our show, somebody like that. All right, but before we go to our next guest, I want to talk a little bit about last week's episode that we recorded, and the software crashed as soon as we ended the...
That you recorded. Let's clarify.
Yeah, because Kyle was had some personal issues, which you can explain if you'd like to, Kyle. No,
I'm good.
Yeah, anyways, we recorded the episode, and as soon as we closed it crashed and deleted the episode. It was 2 hours, but, you know, that's really the first Thursday we've ever, quote-unquote, missed, even though we sat here and did the episode.
Yeah.
So we apologize to our callers and listeners. You know, again, we'll talk a little bit more about, I guess, the final two preseason games in the second half of the show. Anyways, Kyle, one more time, before we bring on our next caller, next guest, New York Jets fans only, a Jets page with over 49.9 thousand followers on Instagram, I believe. Kyle, what were your thoughts on the Jets preseason? Because you haven't really had an opportunity to talk about it at all, so just give your overall thoughts. I mean, I think you've only had the opportunity to talk about the Jags game. So what are your impressions of this team?
I saw a lot of good things from a couple of really good players, a couple of standouts, you know, personally in my mind. Number one was Julian Stanford, linebacker. And then I remember specifically calling you during the game. I said, man, this number 50-something, I can't remember his number. I probably said the wrong number. I said, man, he's making some plays out there. And then you can quote me on that if you want, 50-something. But him and Robbie Anderson were probably the guys who I think stood out the most. Robbie Anderson seems like one of those guys I wonder why he didn't get drafted. He's explosive. He has good hands. He has good quality character. You know, he's not like Odell Beckham Jr., who alligator arms everything when, you know, a safety comes over the top or something. He's definitely a good wide receiver, and I'm not shocked he made this roster. And honestly, I think he kind of overlapped Jalen Marshall as the big rookie wide receiver, at least in my opinion. And another guy who I think made a, big stride, not necessarily did, great, but made a big stride, Bryce Petty. Bryce Petty, I think, is decently. He had some really good moments, and he had some what the heck are you doing moments. But, you know, this is the process, and I think this is why we keep 4 quarterbacks, because these are guys that we can develop, especially when Ryan Fitzpatrick and Geno Smith are free agents next year, and Geno Smith is unlikely to come back. So that's just what I thought about the preseason. Everybody else was basically just, hot trash except the starters. Mm-hmm. I was kind of disappointed in the starters in a couple of the games. I didn't think they, showed their potential. I didn't know if it was just a game plan or lack of effort or whatever it was. I wasn't too impressed with the starting defense specifically. The offense looked okay. Quincy Nunwa had the concussion, but I believe he's going to be ready for week 1. David Harris has a little shoulder, sprain, bruise, whatever they want to call it. I believe he will be ready for week 1 as well. So overall, the preseason was good. We got some good talent out of it. Nobody got significantly injured. And, Ryan Fitzpatrick, got his preseason reps in. You've got to remember, he missed the most of the spring. He's a little bit rusty. We saw that in the preseason games. And I think he needed to play every snap that he did, possibly even more, to break that rust off. And I think we really saw it in week 3 because if it was the starters out there the whole game, I think the Jets would have won that by like 15-plus based on how it was going. But, then the second string came in and the Giants wanted to win, so they kept their first string in because, that's the Giants for you. But the first team offense looked good when it mattered the most. And that was out. That was without B. Marsh, I believe. So that's pretty big as well. But overall, a good preseason. The records didn't show it, but, I'm pretty sure the 2006 Detroit Lions went 4-0 in the preseason. And they went 0-16 in the regular season.
And the 18-1 New England Patriots went 0-4, I believe. So I'm pretty sure that's the same year too.
Why would you bring that up?
Check that.
Why would you bring that up?
0-4 to 18-1. Why not, Kyle?
Because it's the Patriots. I mean, they didn't win the Super Bowl. I mean, they got beat by a team I also dislike.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. 2007 New England Patriots.
They didn't win. They didn't win, so I'm happy. Let's just
Kyle
move
and I
on.
are still getting our chemistry back. All right, well, we're going to bring on the next guest of our program, our kickoff special. This is New York Jets fans only, runs an Instagram page with 49.9 thousand followers. You might have to correct me on that if I'm wrong in it.
Woo!
A hell of a lot of followers on Twitter. So
a lot
first
more
off,
than I have been.
a lot more than Kyle has. First off, what is your name? Because I know there's a lot of contributors. Just so I can refer to you as your name. And how are you doing today?
My name is Dylan. I'm actually the only contributor on the page.
Nice. Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet.
So,
So you're the only contributor. Hey, I mean that's good stuff, man. I mean, I had a Jets page a long time ago, and mine was not nearly as successful. And I could tell it puts a lot of work in. Hey, Kyle, don't diss my page from like 2013. Well, let's get right into it. So, what did you think of the Jets preseason as a whole? I mean, we haven't talked to you before, so what are your thoughts on the Jets preseason?
Well, obviously the one guy that stood out to me the most was Robbie Anderson. I think what we saw from Anderson is kind of what we envisioned Devin Smith doing for us. So I think he showed enough potential to get a few reps during the regular season, maybe throw him out there in a few deep balls. So he was definitely my most impressive player. Also, what was his name? I'm sorry, I'm having a little brain fart right here.
It's all good, man.
Dude, I have those daily just accents. My whole life's been a brain fart. Do not feel bad.
Yeah, but the starting defense I was pretty impressed with. They showed, specifically the Giants game, their defense was just dominant. You saw when Ron Wilkerson came back how deadly the defense could be. Offense was a little shaky throughout the preseason, but that was expected when Fitz missed the entire, off season pretty much. So we got to get that chemistry back. But I think we'll be pretty good heading into the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the season, we obviously have a pretty big game this Sunday. What do you think is the best matchup in this game between, the two players, either, offense versus defense or vice versa?
Well, this is probably the most obvious one, but I got to go with Revis versus A.J. Green. I mean, he's going to be tested a lot early. Remember last year, he got a bad rep last year. I mean, he was pretty much dominant the entire year except for the Texans and Bills game. But yeah, it'll be nice to see him get challenged early. He's healthy now. The wrist injury seems to be behind him. So we'll see if we can get the old Revis back week 1 and see if he's ready to go.
Well, yeah, let's talk about Darrelle Revis a little bit because I feel like a lot of people commented on his 2015 and said, oh, he's old, he's over the hill. Yeah. But I mean, he had the lowest passer rating allowed in the entire NFL. He had the most turnovers he's had in his career. What did you think of Darrelle Revis' 2015 and specifically the criticism he faced for a pretty amazing season by any other corner's standards, and really the last couple games were where he just fell off after his injury. So what are your thoughts on the Darrelle Revis criticism?
I mean, it's just frustrating because, half of the people are saying he's washed up, he's this, he's that. I guarantee you, they haven't even watched. They probably didn't even watch him in a single game last year. If they watched it like most Jets fans did, they would know how the Revis is still an elite corner, and he's still dominant. They just look at, what the NFL tweets and all this other stuff. They just go by what other people say. But half of the people criticizing Revis didn't even watch a single game. That's what frustrates me the most.
Yeah, I share the same sentiment, man. Sorry, Kyle. Kyle and I are still getting our chemistry back. We haven't done an episode together in a while since I was in Europe, and he had his own thing. So we're just
something like that.
Yeah, like 7 weeks or something without an episode together. I mean, that's the thing that bothers me. I think when Darrelle gets a pass completed on him, and it's magnified just because he's Darrelle Revis, and there's this giant, image of Revis Island shutdown corner. So when he allows an occasional 20-yard pass to an amazing wide receiver, it's always highlighted. Well, let's turn the tables a little bit here. Let's talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Nobody expected that holdout to go that long. Are you happy with this preseason after a 6 or 7 or 8 month holdout? Are you happy with that preseason? Because it wasn't his best. I mean, you have to remember he didn't have Brandon Marshall and Quincy Enunwa for some of the games. It's a very vanilla offense. But overall, what did you think of Ryan's preseason?
I mean, obviously it was expected for him not to do as well as he did last year. I mean, missing an entire training camp, I mean, it's hard to get that chemistry back. But I feel like, hold on. Sorry.
It's all good, man. All good. It's all good, man.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I just feel like it's a matter of time before they get the chemistry back under them. I mean, as you saw, a lot of the weapons didn't play. Enunwa didn't play. Forte didn't play until the Giants game. I mean, yeah, they just need a little time to get the chemistry back under them, and I honestly think our offense will be better than it was a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have more talent. I think a year of film on this entire offense is going to hurt them a little bit. But I think the addition of Matt Forte, he's just a better fit in Chan Gailey's system than Chris Ivory. Well, let's talk about Sunday's game since it is week 1 and football is finally back. I think the game actually already started between the Broncos and Panthers. I'll go check that out in a minute.
It did. I'm gonna.
So football is officially back as we're speaking. What are your predictions for this Sunday's game? The Bengals have quite a few people banged up. They haven't released who's officially going to play. And suspended Vontaze Burfict, as you said. Tyler Eifert did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. He's probably not going to. Yeah, he's probably not going to play. And limited was Darqueze Dennard, and I believe that's it.
Corner.
I'm aware.
You're welcome.
Off the top of my
Michigan State.
Thank you very much, Kyle. The Bengals are kind of banged up all over the place. So, how much do you think this is going to help the Jets? I mean, Bengals at full health and Jets at full health. I still think the Jets are a better team, but at home, 15th anniversary of 9/11. The Bengals are just banged up. How do you see this game going, and how much do you think these injuries and suspensions are going to help the Jets?
I think it's big for the Jets, specifically Tyler Eifert, because outside of A.J. Green, Eifert was the other main guy, but without Eifert, it's just basically A.J. Green. They don't really have too many weapons. The run game's all right, but in the receiving game specifically, A.J. Green is the main guy. I believe they have Tyler Boyd. I don't know if he's their second receiver or not. But
he's in number 3.
They don't really have – okay, well, whatever he was. But they didn't really have too many weapons outside of Green. That's what I think is the biggest thing, biggest key to the Jets' success. And also Vontaze Burfict being suspended also going to help a lot. He causes a lot of havoc on the Bengals defense. He's a dirty player. Having him out will be big as well.
Well, yeah, and the biggest thing about Eifert, because sorry, Kyle, to cut you off there, but the biggest thing about Eifert not playing is, I mean, the Jets have a very young linebacking core, and I'd be very nervous. And although we believe that Darren Lee's going to be able to cover some of these tight ends, and maybe Marcus Gilchrist can do it, and these linebackers are eventually going to be great, there's going to be a learning curve these first few couple games, Jets fans. You got to expect it. Not having a guy like Tyler Eifert in the middle, just a giant presence, and a big task for either Marcus Gilchrist, Calvin Pryor, Antonio Allen, one of our favorite Jet safeties, who could cover a corner, who could cover a tight end for one play. But we're happy to not have Darren Lee have that huge responsibility to cover one of the best tight ends in the league. So that's going to help us out a lot. I think Revis is a better player than A.J. Green. A.J. Green's now, the one thing I will say about that, though, is Revis did struggle against these faster, younger receivers. But I think Green actually matches up kind of well against him, or Revis matches up well against Green. So I think you can almost take Green out of the equation. So it's going to come down to that number 2, receiver versus corner battle for me. I think the Green and Revis almost even each other out. And then it's going to be, all right, can the Jets stop the run? I mean, the Jets' run defense didn't look good until Muhammad Wilkerson came back, and he'll be playing. So no Sheldon Richardson, though. But can these young Jets linebackers step up and help the Muhammad Wilkerson, Leonard Williams, and Steve McClendon, trio, and stop this run? And can Buster Screen or Justin Burris in the nickel handle their number 2 wide receiver? So those are my big keys to the game. What are your big keys to the game?
I think they got to get off to a fast start. As you said, Revis, if they can take him out of the equation, it'll be down to stopping the run game. It didn't look too good. Oh, I'm sorry. There's freaking people outside of my house. I apologize.
Hey, no worries, man. It's a podcast, man. It's very relaxed, so all good, man.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, I'm good. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
No problem. But yeah, continuing off the whole depth situation for Cincinnati Bengals, and I've kind of been saying this for a long time, and Ben, you can definitely check that out for me because I have. The Bengals are very injured right now, and they only continue to get more injured. Their number 2 corner, William Jackson III, who they drafted this year, I believe, in the first round. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah.
He's out. He's on the IR. All right, so their number 2 now is Drake or Patrick, a guy who, is a relative bust, who continues to make their team because they don't have that great of a secondary, an exception to George Iloka, who I think is a better safety in the league. Adam Jones is old. I believe he's still struggling with a forearm injury, but he will play. He can't play forever. I think Brandon Marshall, who is significantly taller than him, has a big advantage, and even Eric Decker is significantly taller than him. They could just have a huge advantage there. Like we mentioned, Vontaze Burfict, one of the better linebackers in the league, just a dirty player. He's not going to be available. And then besides A.J. Green, who, Revis will have his hands full with, but I believe he can shut him down, their number 2 receiver is Brandon LaFell. Remember that Patriots game last year? Brandon LaFell.
So many drops.
How many drops did that guy have?
7.
If that's your number 2 receiver, I don't know if this guy can make the Jets roster, much less be a number 2 for a team. That's sad. Now, their offensive line's good. Andy Dalton's a solid quarterback.
It's kind of like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but younger, and maybe you could make maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick's better. I don't know. I mean, they're both kind of redheaded number 14s that are average QBs. Yeah. Well, just to cut in here for a second, I'm actually going to switch topics here, just because we got to keep this moving. Who was the most surprising cut for you?
Well, I actually thought Jeremy Ross was a little bit surprising cut because outside of the kick return Jalen Marshall had against the Jags week 1, I didn't really see too much out of him in the return game. And I thought they'd elect to stay with the proven veteran in Jeremy Ross rather than going with the undrafted rookie who didn't, besides that few returns, didn't really do too much in preseason. So I'd go with Jeremy Ross as the most surprising cut. Also, you could probably throw in Campbell Hopkins in there. I mean, coming into the preseason, I thought he'd be pretty much a lock for the roster, but then, as you saw, I don't even know if he actually even played in the preseason. I didn't see him once, and he just got outperformed.
He did not.
Yeah, he just got outperformed by everyone else.
Yeah, I believe that that was something I called, not to brag, before the preseason started, and it's actually
Kyle.
funny. Ben tweeted.
Yeah, no, Kyle said before
credit.
training camp. Okay, hold on, Kyle. Guys, just to
I'm
give
giving
the
you
people
credit
background.
too,
I'm giving you some background. Kyle said a little bit before training camp that Kembrell Tompkins was going to get cut, and the caller and I were like, no, he's not. However, Kyle, I think mine's cooler. After the second preseason game against the Redskins game, I tweeted, just didn't even tag him or anything. I was like, Kembrell Tompkins might want to make an appearance soon with, Ross, Marshall,
Yeah, I saw that.
and Peak all pushing, and he tweeted out the laughing emojis. He later deleted that tweet. But just throwing that out there, man. I mean, I feel bad. I think he's on the injured reserve, though. I think it was just an injury in practice, and I'm not happy about it. I mean, he was actually a solid receiver when he was healthy. I thought he was going to be a good slot for us. But so I'm not happy like Kyle that somebody just lost their job.
I'm not happy. I didn't say I'm happy.
I think it's ironic,
though.
I think it's ironic that he tweeted those laughing emojis, because it's like, if you knew you were that hurt that you're going to go on IR, why didn't you? I don't know. Anyways, Dylan, let's talk a little bit about your page. I mean, you're the most followed Jets page on Instagram and pretty sure Twitter as well. How did this get started? And you really skyrocketed these past couple of years. So just take me through your experience with this page.
All right. Well, I think about 2 years ago in March, I was just sitting on my phone looking at the Jets official account, and then I was bored out of my mind, and I've loved the graphic design and all of that stuff. So I just got the idea to make a page. Didn't think it would grow too much. Started posting. If you even want to scroll back to the bottom of when it started, the edits are absolutely terrible on there. it just hurts to look at. But I never really expected to grow this big. I remember covering the ISIC 12 draft. I remember a lot of guys from that draft starting reposting some of my pictures, like Jalen Saunders and McDougal even posted one. I think Pryor posted as well. I think that kind of got me a little kick-started. But honestly, I never thought I'd even get this far at all. I didn't think I'd ever get 10K. I mean, I didn't, to be honest, I don't even know why it's even growing, because I'm just posting pictures. If people say, oh, you buy your followers, oh, you get shout-outs. I really don't do any of that. I'm just a normal person. Followers are just coming in. I'm just posting pictures. I mean, it's pretty crazy to see. It's surreal to see how far it's actually come, and now all the opportunities that have come to me because of it. It's just really awesome. I mean, never thought I'd even be at this position.
Yeah, man. I mean, you've done some great stuff, and I mean, it's really great that they've. I mean, there might be a few non-Jets followers there, but that's almost 50,000 Jets fans that you've kind of united, and that's a really cool thing you've done. And yeah, I remember covering that IDZIC 12 draft as well. But I mean, I have to say, it's not easy stuff. I mean, it sounds like, oh, you make an Instagram account, you make a few edits, you post, you do whatever. And Kyle can relate because he runs his own page as well. It's hard stuff to stay on top of the news, to stop what you're doing, make an edit or post. I mean, I give all props to you. It's not easy stuff. No, let's talk a little bit about how your page has grown, because I mean, I know you said you don't know what you're doing, but you got to be doing something right, because for a while there was another Jets page who we will not name after a Twitter beef we had this week.
They suck.
He was number one, and then for some reason you just shouted through the roof. Why do you think your content, I know you said you don't know, but why do you think your content, just got a lot of Jets fans to follow you? Was it just, random, or do you think your edits are just really that good and your content is that good?
He's much better.
Well, I mean, I'd like to say that edits are pretty good. I think that'll draw a lot of people. I just think the content I post, I don't post without making sure that I know that Jets fans will like it. I don't post things like you'll see other pages. They'll sometimes post personal stuff. They'll post shout-outs or whatever. I post strictly Jet stuff. I know I'm a Jets fan myself, so I know what they'd like to see, what they'd like to be posted. So I just, post things that I think only they would. I pretend I'm a follower of myself, and I post things only I'd want to see on the page. I think that's a big thing for the reason it's grown.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I think I need to start doing that then. I think that would increase my followers too. I'm trying to hit that 4K before the summer officially ends.
Hey, I mean, that's no joke. I mean, it sounds like a joke compared to New York Jets fans only, but that's still 4,000 people you got, Kyle. Now, Dylan, Are you going to any Jets games this year, or are you? Because I believe you were at the Redskins Jets preseason game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but yeah, you are. So you're at least on the East Coast. So do you think you'll make it out to any Jets home or away games this year?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I always try to go to at least one home game a year. Last year I went to the Giants game, which was a pretty awesome game to go to. This year I'm eyeing the Saturday night game against the Dolphins in December. That's probably the most likely one I'll go to. But also, as I said, like a lot of opportunities I get through the page. Like last year, the Giants tickets were completely free, which is big. So sometimes things arise like that. Maybe I'll make it out to a few more games. But as of now, just the Dolphins game.
That's
This
pretty
boy's
cool.
impressive. He's getting sponsorships and free tickets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it blows that Kyle and I have to live on separate ends of the country and then aren't even close to New York because, I mean, that's really cool to get free tickets. But I will be going to a Jets home game this year, my first ever Jets home game. I think I'm going to that Sunday night game against the Patriots, which
that'll be good.
We're most likely going to lose just because I'm there. I've been to one game and we got blown out by the Seahawks in Seattle. That was a really fun game to go.
But Muhammad Wilkerson had that fumble recovery though.
Yeah,
that made the whole trip, right?
Yeah, Mo had a touchdown though. That was pretty cool.
Last year was the only most recent game I went to that they've actually won.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember I went
hoping,
in 2008 with Brett Favre and they got blown out by the Broncos.
I'm hoping they can break the streak, my streak of losing. And 4 years before that, I was going to go to the 2008 game against the Seahawks, which we also lost with Brett Favre, and
that was rough.
Snowed in. There was a horrible snowstorm in the entire Northwest, and we literally couldn't get out. And I was 8 years old, I believe, at the time, and it was just it was a horrible experience.
If I remember correctly, I think it was Sean Ellis who threw a pile of snow at a fan. I can't remember on video. That was pretty funny to see.
Yeah, I think it would have been a couple sections away from that, but I would have been cheering so loudly, man. Now, Dylan, before we let you go, how can fans reach you? Obviously, you have this Twitter page and the Instagram page, so give out all your information, and hopefully you can get a few more followers. Except it probably wouldn't even be noticeable because the amount of followers you have, man, at this point is ridiculous. But if you're not following Dylan and New York Jets fans only, what are you doing? So give out all your information.
Well, obviously the Instagram, NY Jets Fans Only. Also have a Twitter account, same thing, NY Jets Fans Only. Also, my YouTube channel has been growing a little bit recently. It's the Jetcast. I think I've got over 1,000 subs on there. And that's, I think, for now, that's the only platforms I'm on right now. I thought about making a Facebook, but I'm not really too big into that. So I'll probably just stick on those for now. But yeah, you guys can reach me on there.
Yeah, I forgot about the Jetcast because you have my favorite Jets YouTube channel as well. Your hype videos really get me pumped up. I really enjoy it. Your season highlight one, I think it's like 3 minutes or something with like Warriors or something as the back. That one might be one of the best Jets videos I've ever watched. So I mean, you got a lot of talent: graphic designing, reporting news, and making videos. So Jets fans, you should definitely go follow and subscribe and do everything to Dylan over here. And Dylan, last question for you: if you could buy one Jets jersey that you do not already own, who would it be and why?
Ooh, well, I actually have a lot of jerseys, but I think I'd go throwback. I actually don't have a Curtis Martin jersey, and that's kind of disappointing as I'm a huge Jets fan. You know he's one of the greatest players of all time. Greatest to wear green. I'm really disappointed I don't have him yet, but yeah, I'd probably choose him because I have so many. But I've also chosen a lot of busts. I have like Plaxico Burress, Chris Johnson. It's kind of rough.
I have just a garbage bag, no joke, a garbage bag full of horrible jerseys just in the back of my closet. I have some real gems. Antonio Holmes, you can make the argument he's probably good, but I think I have 3 different Brett Favre jerseys, 3 different Mark Sanchez jerseys, Leon Washington. I have a couple gems.
Oh dear.
Yeah, actually, Leon was nice.
Real quick.
I still have a Tim Tebow Jets jersey, and he just signed with the Mets, single A affiliate, which is 5 minutes away from me. I'm so happy.
Calvin Pryor's first day of rookie minicamp, he wore, if you guys remember, he wore number 35. I ordered the jersey on that day. So I have a Calvin Pryor number 35 jersey sitting in my closet. It hasn't even been worn.
Oh, that is so disappointing. Why would you do that? You can't buy the rookies until after training camp, man. Come on, rookie mistake.
Yeah, I learned. I learned right there. That was rough.
That's surprising to me that the Jets shop would sell you that. I mean, like it feels like they would just say, "Oh wait, hold on."
Why? You know
Yeah,
Woody Jones is cheap, right? Any way to make a buck for him, it will happen.
Hey, Manish Mehta criticized him today for being like a normal owner and not giving away team secrets. It was odd. Anyways, Dylan, thanks for coming on the show, man. A very relaxed episode interview with you.
Yeah,
man.
no problem, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Make sure to call in some other time, man. We
Yeah,
really
definitely
enjoy
will.
talking to you, man. Yeah, we
Yeah,
definitely
thanks
enjoy
for having
talking
me
to
on.
you.
I've had a lot of crap going on around me right now, but hopefully I'll be in a more secluded area. Be able to talk more just football. I'll call another time.
All right, sweet man. We're looking forward to hearing
Great.
you. Everybody can go follow Dylan, NY Jets Fans Only, on Instagram and Twitter, and the Jetcast, or maybe it's just Jetcast, on YouTube. Dylan, thanks for coming on, man.
No problem, guys. Thanks.
Now, we
All
don't
right,
have
so
many.
great call from Dylan there.
Yeah.
Great call from Dylan there.
Yeah, Kyle, we'll talk a little bit about this roster in a second. We don't have many callers because I was like, why don't we have many callers tonight? And I realized it's because the first NFL game
Why
is
would
on.
you say that? Why would you say that, Ben?
We have a few callers, Kyle. I mean, it's not.
We
Well,
have
Kyle, it has to be
30
expected.
callers on hold. That's a lot.
That's not a lot. What are you talking about, Kyle? Okay, well, we're not going to discuss trade secrets here, Kyle. But an unnecessary comment.
All right, whatever. As I was saying, I kind of interrupted Dylan, so I stopped saying it. The Tim Tebow thing. I have his jersey still from when he was Jets. I got it the day he signed with us. I got it FedExed immediately to my house because, I'm a huge Florida Gator fan. You guys don't know that. I live in Florida.
Tim Tebow is garbage, just letting you know.
What?
Tim Tebow is
I didn't
garbage.
hear you. What did you say?
Tim Tebow is garbage, bro. Come on.
In the NFL, correct. But in college, he's a Hall of Famer and a Heisman winner. And I'm pretty sure he beat Oregon State a couple times. But, that's a different topic. So I live in Florida, all right? And Tim Tebow just signed with the Mets today. If you guys don't know that, the single A affiliate of the Mets, which is minor league. And for those who don't know, the Mets play in Tradition Field, which is in Prince Lucie, Florida. That's about 5 minutes from where I live. And I'm going to get him to sign my Jets Tim Tebow jersey, replica helmet, and everything else I have of him. I think I also have a top card. I'm going to get him to sign all of those because he will be there, year-round now. I can find where Tim Tebow lives, not being stalkerish, but he is within a 25-mile vicinity of me basically all time, except when he's doing ESPN. I'm just so happy about that.
well, good luck to you, Kyle. In your journey of getting another Tim Tebow autograph.
My quest to find Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
I'm going to knock on his door on a Sunday morning or something. You got some pancakes here.
Yeah, well, Kyle, let's talk a little bit about the roster. I think that was probably the biggest thing that's happened this week is the Jets did cut down the roster. We missed on a few ones, Kyle. But for the most part, let's just run through it a little bit. Kyle, you were right. We kept 4 quarterbacks. I was surprised by it. Well, I wasn't surprised at the end, but in the beginning of the preseason, I was surprised by that. So, Kyle, I mean, you had so many bad takes at the beginning that
I'm calling, but the 2 major ones that I made that you guys made fun of me for, you, Joe Tyson, the other Joe, Kyle, the list goes on, was keeping 4 quarterbacks and Kenbrell Tompkins getting cut. And I called both of those before there was ever a preseason snap. Not that the preseason's even really significant to see talent. It's just that that's when, people get cut in training camp, stuff like that. So I'm basically Nostradamus at this point. Let's just declare this right now. Instead of Mr. Money, I'm Nostradamus. I'm joking.
I'm not calling you that.
I was pretty accurate there. I just like to give myself a round of applause there, and there's nobody else to give me a round of applause.
I would play the clapping sound by Kyle, but I'm just not going to.
Do we have one of those? I'm going to find that, and I'm going to play it when you're speaking. So just go ahead.
Just to compliment me. All right, well, Kyle, let's break down the roster. We kept 4 quarterbacks. At the running back position, a lot of turnover happened. Kyrie Robinson broke his leg again. So
yeah.
We have Matt Forte, Bilal Powell, and I'm spacing on his name. But Kyle, who's our third running back's name again? It's Trumaine.
Christine Pope, I believe.
Yeah. I think
something like that.
Tromaine, something like that.
Or Tromaine. It's Pope. Pope
yeah.
is
What do you think?
name.
What do you think about that signing though, to replace Kyrie Robinson?
really, he came out of the draft this year. He was an undrafted free agent. I believe it was this year. I remember looking at him a little bit. My original thoughts on him coming out of the draft were this is a smaller guy, doesn't have great hands. He's pretty decent in pass protection from what I've seen. He's an explosive guy who has good field vision, decent field vision, can make good cuts, and he's pretty speedy. I mean, then he came into the Seahawks camp, and he basically destroyed everything I had against him. So he's definitely been working. So if the Jets definitely gave him a shot. You know, they let him come in, they gave him the tryout, and Dominique Williams, Romar Morris, I believe they were also there vying for that spot at that specific little tryout for that last running back position. Because nobody knew about Kyrie Robinson's leg being broken. Our good friend Kyle from ESPN Pro said he went back and watched that game. He never even saw Kyrie Robinson walk to the locker room. I mean, did this guy just stand on the sidelines with a broken leg or something and was never included in an injury report until the day he got cut? And they're just like, hey, yeah, he's got a broken leg. Oh, okay. But if this kid can produce for us, if he can come in even 3 snaps a game, just get us 10 yards, I'm fine with that. If the Jets believe he can come in there and do a good job, I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with the scouting ability of Mike McCagnon because that's what he is. He's not a cap guy. He's a scout. He's a career scout. He was a scout with the Texans for 14-plus years. He learned under Charlie Cassery and Ron Wolf, some of the best to ever do it. So if Mike McCagnon likes the signing, I like the signing.
Now, what was the most surprising move for you, Kyle?
Well, this was hard. I didn't think we were going to cut Dean Milner because I still believe we can get a deal done with him to where we don't have to pay him the $4 million. So the way I was looking at it from a GM's perspective, why not just keep this guy, hope he stays healthy, and at least get some snaps out of him for the $4 million instead of just straight cutting him? And now I believe he's on our IR because he didn't get claimed. So he's just sitting on our IR for $4 million, and we'll probably get he's a free agent next year, actually. We didn't pick up that 5th-year option. He will probably just leave in free agency. So we're just going to pay him the $4 million this year. He'll sit out till, week 6? If he even gets called up to the roster, we may just waive him then. I mean, he's shown very little improvement, but, I mean, some of the things he did well in preseason, I did over-criticize him for that Allen Robinson play. He obviously didn't know what the coverage was, and that kind of scares me as a guy who's been in the system for 2+ years now. But I would probably say that's the most surprising cut. The other one, probably Jason Morrow. Rumors say he still hasn't healed right. He still has a lot of issues, specifically in his back. I've heard that that is a thing that he definitely needs to work on. That may be expensive career-wise. That's possibly a reason the Jets cut him. That's just rumors. That's nothing official. But they just went out and claimed these guys from the Jaguars and the Chiefs, and the guy from the Chiefs, he got cut because he failed his physical. And I believe the guy from the Jaguars, his name is Braden Bowen. I don't know how. I don't know if that's his exact name, but he made the roster. We claimed him the day he got cut, and he made the roster. That shows you how bad this tight end position is. Kellen Davis is our number 1 tight end, people. He's a decent blocking tight end. That's bad. I mean, yeah. I'm hoping Quincy.
Yeah, so just to cut you out a little bit, but what do you think about the tight end position as a whole? Because we added a lot of new pieces, and I know we have Quincy and Nuno, but just specifically the tight ends, ignoring Quincy, what do you think about them? Because we added some new guys, so maybe tell our viewers a little bit about the new guys.
Well, we had Kellen Davis last year, so you guys know what you got out of him. If you liked our tight end position last year, great. If you didn't, you're like everybody else in the Jets community, and you know they were terrible. Brandon Bostic, I believe this is his 3rd year in the league, or going into his 3rd year in the league. Famous for, he was on the Packers, and he got that onside kick in his hands, and I believe the NFC Championship game. I believe that was what it was in. I know it was in a major playoff game. somebody tried to kick it on sides. I believe the 49ers, right in his hands, perfectly in his hands. All he had to do was come down with it, and he just straight dropped it. Young player, nerves probably got the best of him, but that's what his career is famous for. And then Braden Bowman, that's the guy's name, the guy who we claim from Jacksonville. I've actually watched a little tape on this guy. This is a decent-sized kid who is a good blocker and has good pass-catching ability. He's 6'3". He's only 22 years old. He is a rookie. I believe he came from not the Jaguars in the NFL, but the South Alabama Jaguars. I believe that's the name of the college. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's where he's from. Then you can fact-check that for me. But he is an all-around solid player. And from what I've heard, I talked to a couple people in, the Jags community. I live in Florida. I do have a couple friends. They said this was a kid who kind of stood out to them. He was definitely vying for that number 2 spot. Obviously, they have Julius Thomas, who they signed to a pretty big contract a couple years ago. And I also believe that their backup, I believe it's Mercedes Lewis. I'm not necessarily sure about that. But he just didn't win it because he's a rookie and he didn't know the system. But he is a very talented guy, and he definitely has the ability to be a playmaker on this offense if we use him right. Now, I'd like to bring up a former Jets tight end who created quite the stir on Instagram a couple days ago. That's the guy by the name of Jeff Cumberland. I don't know if you guys remember him, and then you're probably snoring by now because I haven't heard from you in a while. Yeah. When Jason Burrow got cut, somebody said, in the comments, the Jets should have kept you and Jeff Cumberland. Jeff Cumberland.
I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah. Sensible Jet fans, right? Jeff Cumberland commented, nah, and this is exactly what he said. Nah, I asked to be cut. They trying to ruin people's careers by not using tight ends. That's been a suspicion for a long time.
He's bad at football. Is salty an appropriate professional adjective now? I feel like is that going to be added to the Webster dictionary, Merriam-Webster dictionary?
What?
Is salty a professional adjective I can use now, Kyle?
Oh, absolutely. And that's been in my dictionary for multiple years. Yeah, I was right. The backup tight end is Mercedes Lewis. So no shame in losing out to him. But yeah, Jeff Cumberland saying, oh, I asked to get released. No, you got cut because you sucked. That's why you were not on the team. And you
Kyle, bring in the fire, man.
No, because I'm sick of this dude. John Nissick, I was like the only guy John Nissick ever spent money on. He gave him like a 3-year, $12 million extension when everybody was just like, yeah, can we get rid of him, please? Yeah, play the music. Do the horns. Where are the horns? There they are. 3, 2, 1. Now, do the horns.
All credit goes to Let's Talk Jets, and that is Joe's theme song, just to cover, because last time Tyson got mad at us. So just saying.
Calm down, Tyson, if you're listening to this. I know you never call it, but you probably just listen.
Dude, he filled in for your. Let's go to our callers. Let's go to our callers, and we'll come back. Our first caller of the night is. Or I guess he's our third because we have 2 guests on the show. But this is Tyler, and he does have a theme song. So let me go pull it up before I unmute him. Ready? He personally requested by Tyler himself. Tyler, here's your theme song.
Recording started.
Okay, we don't have to listen to the entire album.
Is that
Tyler,
Black
how you doing,
Sabbath?
man? Yeah, it is.
Good. That was a nice
Tyler,
song.
how you doing, man? You doing good?
Yeah, I was good. I'm good, bro.
That's good to hear, man.
That's awesome.
Well, let's start it off. Do you have anybody that you were surprised that got cut?
Yeah, Jason Morrow.
Would you like to elaborate?
Why?
why?
Yeah.
Like, he had a decent rookie season. I don't know why they cut him, though.
Well, then I'll go ahead and I'll take over for this one. Calm down, then. Jeez. Honestly, I think it's a long-term injury issue and lack of talent. I'll put it at that. Jason Morrow has not made the strides that he needs to as a player to succeed in this league. You know, he got scooped up immediately by the Titans, and that's one of the most untalented rosters in the NFL, an exception to Marcus Mariota. I don't know if I can include DeMarco Murray because he used to be good, but, you know, things have gone south. Delaney Walker, that's about it. Jarrell Casey, one of the McCourty brothers. I mean, that's about it. They got about 3 players who are considered good or elite in this league. So that little claim means nothing to me talent-wise. I think if he would have got a little bit healthier earlier and he would have made more attempts to progress himself as a player, he would have made this team. What I saw from him in the preseason was a lazy route running, not really fighting for balls, and a couple of times being scared of a safety, not wanting to get hit. And, you know, I can understand that. You're coming off of a back injury. You may still have a back injury. You may not be 100%. But, you know, you got to make that catch. Jason Morrow had to come into this camp thinking, okay, I got to earn my job. You know, there are people behind you. And I don't think he ever thought that way because he did not show me what he needed to have to remain on this roster. And I'll put it at that because that's it. That's the bottom line. I don't think he showed us anything. He had an okay, decent rookie year because he was the only one who had a midget of talent. I mean, you look at that year for Geno Smith. He was working with Jeremy Curley. Who else, Ben? Stephen Hill? Was he still on the team?
Yeah, Clyde Gates. Can't forget good old Clyde the Glide.
Oh, yeah. Clyde the Glide. And then Jason Morrow. No wonder Jason Morrow has, 3 or 4 touchdowns? What was it, Ben? You're good at stats like that. I don't know exactly how many he had, but if it was
probably 3. I think it was 3, yeah.
Yeah.
That I can remember.
Yeah.
One against the Steelers, one against the Broncos, and there's another one in there. Chiefs, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so the Jets had no talent on that team, and he got 3 touchdowns. I'll leave it at that.
Now, Tyler, were you surprised at all by the D. Milner release?
Nah. I wasn't surprised on D. I knew he would have got cut anyway, so I wasn't surprised.
Oh.
Okay, well, Ben, were you surprised by the cut?
I was. I mean, when you have guaranteed money tied up in a guy, I think it's interesting that you decided to cut him, but clearly he just wasn't good enough, and the Jets are going to keep the best 53 football players. So, I mean, I'm not too surprised.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know, I said earlier, you know, thinking like a GM, you don't cut a guy who's going to make $4 million just to have him sit on your IR for 6 weeks and then just cut him later. That's not how it works in the NFL. We're strapped for money. So we'll just have to leave it at that. So is there anything you want to talk about specifically?
No, just fire away on your questions if you want to.
Okay. Who do you think the Jets will win this Sunday?
Well, it's 9/11. It's emotional, so yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I think me and Ben both agree. All right, Tyler. Well, thanks for calling in. We don't really have a lot more questions for you. I think we've covered basically everything.
Yeah. Whoa. Before we let Tyler go, Tyler, a couple last questions because, sorry, Kyle asked you all his questions, and I didn't get to fill in here for a second. One, what are the biggest keys for the Jets to win this Sunday?
Special teams and our fast defense.
Definitely for sure. And then next question, what's the biggest matchup you're looking forward to seeing this Sunday?
Biggest matchup?
Yeah.
Revis and AJ Green, or like Andy Dalton and Mo Wilkerson.
Yeah, I'd love to see Mo Wilkerson versus Andy Dalton one-on-one.
That'd be great. I'd love to see that 40-yard dash.
Yeah, finally, Tyler, what's going to be the final score of this game that you say the Jets are going to win?
I don't know. I haven't put out my prediction yet, so I'm not sure.
Do you think it's going to be like a low-scoring game or a high-scoring game?
Bengals got a lot of injuries without that, and its score is going to be it's going to be close. I'll say 24-20.
All right, well, Tyler, thanks for your input, man, and we hope to hear from you next week, hopefully after a Jets win.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. All right, cool.
All right, sweet Tyler, we'll make sure to tweet out your info. All right, not to give away any trade secrets here, but Kyle, I believe it's okay. We accidentally ended the recording.
No. But what's funny, Ben? Like I heard, the little sound that goes off, when it's saying that, when his song was playing.
Yeah.
I can't describe how perfectly the words went with the rhythm. I was just like, whoa. Okay, that's new.
No, what I was trying to say is I believe the Victor Green interview is still saved, but I'm literally going to hurt somebody if we accidentally just deleted it there. If not, then I'll just cut this part out of our final product. But anyways, I'm just gonna 3, 2, 1, cut. All right, well, great call from Tyler. I'm just gonna do that. Okay. Anyways, great call from Tyler there. We're gonna keep moving ahead with the phone lines, and I have to apologize before I let our next caller on because
I got something for her, Ben. Because I am the man. I got something for her.
Oh, okay. So our next caller and possibly final caller of the night is Rumi. Let's see what Kyle's got up his sleeve.
Rumi, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How are you guys doing today? Thank you for having me on. It's nice to have you back, Kyle. Welcome back.
Thank you, Rumi. I really
miss
that
song,
too.
I kind of like that song, Taylor Swift.
Well,
it's Kevin's retired theme song because he never decides to call in, so we had to dump his theme song.
But he
can maybe earn it back.
I guarantee you he's listening. I guarantee you he's listening.
He's got to be watching
Ben.
some football, man. He's got to be watching some football. Now, Rumi, let's just start it off. What are you looking forward to seeing this Sunday against the Bengals?
Well, we're going to win, first of all. It's going to be a close game, but I'm actually curious.
Yeah, I like the enthusiasm.
I'm curious to see how Andy Dalton's going to play since he was injured most of the part of the season last year, when they had A.J. McCarron. So I'm curious to see how he's going to come back. But I think, in the end, no one's going to beat us at home, especially in the season opener, 9-11. So we're going to pull a victory on Sunday. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I believe that's what I've been preaching for a long time. And Rumi, I believe you were one of the people that were telling me, "Oh, Kyle, don't guarantee it." I believe that's something you were saying. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Did I say that? I don't think I said that.
I believe you were one of my very
okay. Well,
loud
I gotta give you credit, Kyle, for that. Kimbrel Tompkins being cut, but you have to give me credit for saying D was going to get cut back in December.
Yep,
I've been saying all along, even before preseason. That guy.
Yeah, Yeah, you've been saying that, and you blew up our DMs immediately. It happened on Twitter. He's
right?
like, I'm gonna read these DMs because it was hilarious. Like, as soon as it happened, I don't even think Adam Schefter got it out yet. She must have had like those Vegas sources, like just on the phone, ready to go. This is exactly what she said. My stupid Twitter would load, and I'm right next to my Wi-Fi router. But something along these guidelines because I have terrible Wi-Fi apparently.
Okay.
$4 million down the drain. I told you D. Milner would get cut. Something along those guidelines. That's very close to what you said, Rumi. Throw $4 million in the trash. That's what you said.
It's true. I mean, come on. He played horrible at that game against the Giants. That was a bad beat. I know Joe keeps defending him with those other plays. He played tight coverage with those other wide receivers, but that's expected. Those were easy routes. I mean, that one bad beat was that was the final straw. I'm pretty sure. You saw that play, right? He was totally oblivious of what was going on, and that guy faked him out. He fell down. He scored a touchdown. I mean, that was just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, things happen. D. Miller got burnt like toast, and you said Mike McCagnon made a statement, and I think you're absolutely right. And I believe Todd Bowles said in his press conference after the guys got cut, this wasn't a thing where we're getting rid of guys who, weren't our guys. We didn't draft them. We're just getting rid of guys who don't fit our system. And I'm like kind of thinking to myself, that's basically the easy way out of saying we cut them because they have bad attitudes and we didn't draft them. That's just what I'm thinking. Cause it's basically
I have to agree. Yeah, that wasn't Mike McCagnon's pick. That was Izik's, right? That was back in 2013, first round.
Yeah, that's why he got cut. If a person gets cut, it's Izik's pick. We'll put it at that. But moving on, let's move on to something more cheery. Because bringing up the Izik 12 gets me like in a rage. Ask Ben.
Any questions? Go ahead.
When I'm at. All right. What do you think the deepest position on this team is?
The what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
The deepest position on this team.
What do you mean, like the worst part, or
like talent-wise. Who do you think?
I can't hear. I have all this traffic noise. Talent-wise, our wide receiver spot. Because I was really surprised, though, because I thought everyone was talking about they were only going to cut one wide receiver, and they cut two. They had Ross and Campbell Tompkins. So I was actually surprised by that cut, and also with Sudfeld, too. Jason Morrow and Sudfeld. I mean, now we're left with Kellen Davis. He's horrible. And we got that new guy from Seattle.
We have Brandon Bostic to save the day at our tight end
Jacksonville.
position.
Yeah. No, he's from Seattle, right? Or Jags?
That's Brandon Bowman. Similar name.
Bowman.
Brandon Bostic is a guy. Brandon Bostic is a guy we signed at the beginning of the offseason. He dropped an onside kick in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers, I believe, in 2012. Okay, what's the weakest position on this team?
Like I said, the tight end. That's bad. I mean, I don't have any faith with Kellen Davis. First of all, his rookie season.
I think you and every Jet fan except Ben agrees with that statement. Ben was like trying to make a case for Kellen Davis.
Hey, no. Don't get this. I'm sitting back here quietly, letting you two talk. And you just come out there and diss me. No, Kyle. I'm giving you your mic time. I do not just support Kellen Davis. I said he'll make the roster because he's a good blocker. He's one of the better blocking tight ends in the league. He can literally do nothing else, but he can block. So he's like a 10th offensive lineman. So no, don't. I'm not just openly throwing my support out for Kellen Davis, Kyle. Look at you trying to aim.
But I thought he did pretty well though. Don't you agree, Sudfeld? He caught a couple passes in the backfield in the preseason games. He did okay. I didn't think he was bad enough to get cut.
The one problem I've always had with him is strength. He's a huge dude. I think he's 6'6". He's not very strong, though. And we saw that showcase in the Washington game. There were a couple times where he had a pretty open field in front of him, an exception to about one guy, And one time I know he fumbled it, and the other time he got lit up. He just got lit up. And this guy was like, I believe it was Suwa Cravens. I believe that's who it was. He's only like 6 foot tops. I think that's what they had him at the combine, and that's usually very, very generous. And Sudfeld's 6'6", and he just got beat. I mean, he definitely needs to get his strength up. He's a talented guy. Also needs to work on his hands. I believe he had a touchdown catch at some point in the preseason from Bryce Petty. Yeah. But, those are just things you need to work on. It's the little things in the NFL. Odell Beckham is arguably one of the most talented players to ever play the game. Extremely fast, has good hands, pretty tall, but attitude and strength have held him back in his career, and injuries. I think if Odell Beckham actually put a lot more time into playing football than, instead of having an ego and being a fashion designer and, all the injuries he's had, I think he'd be 10 times better. And that's hard to imagine, but I think it could definitely happen. But now we're kind of getting off topic. Going back to the Jets, the good team in New York, regardless of what the preseason says, what do you give Mike McCagnon this offseason? Overall.
I give him overall, since that D. Milliner cut, he gets upgraded to an A+. That's just me, because I didn't want that guy on our roster. But realistically, maybe a B, because he didn't take care of the tight end position. I'm still upset about that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair grading, and I definitely agree with you with the tight end position. I think he did almost nothing to help that out. A guy who I really like coming out of the draft was Hunter Henry from Arkansas. He's got like 36 career touchdowns in the SEC. That's phenomenal. They are going against guys like Reggie Ragland. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were going against first-round pick type of guys. Just to rattle a couple off my head, I already said Reggie Ragland. Ben, who was the LSU linebacker who came out this year? Remind me of his name, Ben, please. No? Okay.
He's so quiet.
Thank you. I believe he's trying to fix a kind of mechanical issue we're having right now. Luckily, yeah.
Well, what about Edwards, though? Isn't he a huge upgrade from Quigley? That guy was so bad. So our special teams is going to be improved just by that guy, our kicker, our punter.
Yeah, our special teams is definitely improved. I think I would have wanted Jeremy Ross over Jalen Marshall. I think Jalen Marshall offers more in the, passing game. I have seen him short arm a couple balls, actually like 3 of them. But
he dropped a couple
making some nice
balls
plays
too.
Yeah. It's one of those guys who has good potential, and that's just one of those guys you have to keep, kind of like Bryce Petty. Jeremy Ross, though, I think showed us he's a good kick returner and punt returner, and I even saw him make a couple plays in the passing game. So I honestly don't know why we didn't keep him. I think maybe just because he's older, possibly making more money. I think we had him on the veteran minimum, which is like $150,000 more than the rookie minimum, which is what Jalen Marshall's on. Mm-hmm. And Jalen Marshall's only on this team.
Is he faster than Ross, though? He looked like he was faster, Jalen Marshall, like speed-wise. I don't know the stats.
Contrary to what our good friend Kyle from AFC East Bros will say, Jalen Marshall's very fast and explosive. Before, the preseason started, Kyle, when I had him on as a co-host, when Ben was over in Europe, doing his thing, taking selfies on the Eiffel Tower.
Hey.
He's back.
I've been here the entire time.
I'm
just listening. No, I'm being quiet because I'm letting you two, I'm letting Kyle get his microphone time.
No, you're being quiet because You're being quiet because you were praying to God that the recording was still there, and it was. So you're lucky then. You are really lucky. But what was I saying? Contrary to what our good friend Kyle from AFC East Bros will say, Jalen Marshall's very fast and explosive. Jeremy Ross, I wouldn't necessarily say is fast at this point in his career. He's a relatively older guy, but he's explosive. He can make cuts. He's got good downfield vision. He's definitely a guy that should get claimed in this league. I don't know if he did, and I don't even know if he signed anywhere yet, but I will look that up right now, because I should know that, and I'm very disappointed in myself as a Jet fan that I don't. He's just one of those guys that if he's a free agent, you got to bring him in. You just have to. He's a talented guy. I said he was older. He's 29. You know, that's considered older in the NFL now, believe it or not.
That's true.
But I think Jalen Marshall was the better choice just based off of talent and, you know, youth.
Well, I have a question for you, Kyle.
All right, go ahead.
Come on, Rumi. You got to ask me this. Come on, Rumi.
Oh, no, you already asked you. Remember the record prediction. So what do you think our record's going to be this season? Are you going to be like Joe and say 8-8, or are you going to be like me and Ben saying playoffs?
10-6 playoffs, man.
10-6 or 11-5?
I think the Jets will go 10-6.
Oh, okay.
And depending how Baltimore does, I think they'll be good this year. I don't have us making the playoffs. And here's why.
Oh, my God.
Here's why.
You need that soundbite.
I think we have it somewhere, but I think we're going to get copyrighted by Let's Talk Jets if we use it because it's just too important to them.
Yeah, they're pretty serious about that. They
are? I thought they were nice about sharing.
I'm kidding. I'm just messing.
We're really not.
Okay, I want to hear your reason.
You look at this AFC North. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Cincinnati Bengals. We play all of them this year. And I think we lose to the Steelers. And I think they'll be one of the better teams they'll be one of the better teams in the NFL this year. You know, when Le'Veon Bell gets back, obviously Martavis Bryant's out for the whole year with that suspension, but they still have Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. Well, that's always a possibility, but you always got to assume that they're going to stay healthy and be at the best they can be. Le'Veon Bell, when he gets back, arguably the best running back in the NFL. Their defense has gotten significantly better. Just in the linebacking core alone, Ryan Shazier has really emerged as a good middle linebacker in this league. I have them as a team that can go like 13-3. And then you look at Baltimore, they get Joe Flacco back, they get Justin Forsett back, Steve Smith, Terrell Suggs. That's 4 Pro Bowl players right there that were out last year, out for the year at some point in the year. Joe Flacco was a little later on, but Steve Sizzle was like in the first 2 weeks. Steve Smith, I believe, was in week 5 against Carolina, and then Justin Forsett was in week 3. Those are 4 key guys that they lost in the season, and their average margin loss was only 6 points. So without any talent whatsoever, I believe, not Matt Schaub, but Ryan, who was the old Texans backup quarterback and Patriots backup quarterback then? Ryan.
Wait, sorry, what? Sorry,
Ryan Mallett.
Dude, I've been fixing this show, Kyle, while you two have been talking.
Isn't it Ryan Mallett?
I literally have been on the phone saving the show. So, Kyle, don't give me grief. Okay. I'm back, though. Okay. Sorry. I was dealing with
well, we're
the
having
software.
A discussion then.
I agree. Kyle's been gone for a couple weeks because he's and I let you two talk. But now it's my turn, Kyle, because I'm the better host.
Let me finish this point.
No, I'm kidding. You finish.
Chill like that ice cream sandwich you were eating earlier. But Ryan Mallett was their starting quarterback for
Yes, I know Ryan Mallett. Okay.
Yeah, he's terrible. We'll put it at that.
He is terrible.
Yeah, all right. So they get all this talent back. Also, Rashard Perryman, their first-round pick 2 years ago, he was out all of last year. We never saw him debut. This is his 2nd year in the league. He's completely healthy. Him, Steve Smith, and Kamar Aiken, who's been making some big plays as the number 3 wide receiver. Dennis Pitta, Crockett Gilmore, very good 1-2 punch at the tight end position. Justin Forsett, he's an older back, but he's very serviceable. The offensive line, Marshall Yanda, possibly the best guard in the NFL. Joe Flacco, I consider elite. That defense is phenomenal when they're healthy. Jimmy Smith is a very good lockdown corner. And Matt Elam, who I do think is injured for an extensive time period this year. When he is healthy, he's made some good strides. That is a good team with a very good head coach. They're only like 5 years removed from a Super Bowl win. They can go 12-4. Then you look at the Bengals, who I think will beat Week 1. They're a team that will probably be 10-6, 11-5. Same boat as us. I think Baltimore is the team out of that group that could slip up and possibly have a 9-7 year. I think we'll beat them, and I also think we'll beat the Bengals, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day if they have a better record.
You don't think we'll win the division, though? I'm not saying wild card. We're talking about the division. If we win the division, we go into the playoffs.
We're not winning the division.
Really? Even with Brady being suspended 4 games and that other guy with the substance abuse, I forgot his name. That Patriot guy.
I think they'll go 3-1 without Brady. And
okay.
Here's why. If people are like, oh, Tom Brady's out for 4 games. If you can honestly tell me right now that you don't believe Bill Belichick will have Jimmy Garoppolo ready for each team that they play, that's Arizona, Buffalo, Miami, and then some other trash team that they'll beat, you're mistaken. Jimmy Garoppolo will be ready for this team. If there's a drop-off, I don't think it will be that much. Rob Gronkowski,
Kyle, come on, there's going to be a drop-off between Tom Brady and I've spent the better half of the last 20 minutes like listening with Drew Lanier and stuff, and I have to say, Kyle, that was maybe the dumbest thing you said. Come on. I've missed this, Kyle. I've missed this.
Right?
This is arguably the best head coach in NFL history. And
but he's not playing, though.
And tell If you
Kyle,
want to be arrogant,
all I'm going to say,
you don't believe Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be ready for this game, you are mistaken. You better be ready for Jimmy Garoppolo. He is their future.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, they're breaking them in now.
You need that What Do You Mean song now.
Now, Tom Brady.
We're not allowed to play that one either. We got our own version.
What
you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about?
That's a good one.
Continue, Kyle, with your horrible argument. Kyle, wait, let me cut in here. I see what you're saying. And, Kyle, your main argument here that you're just going around is that your main argument should be the 2018 with Matt Castle. However, I do believe
whatsoever.
Well, because you make the argument Matt Castle's a horrible quarterback and they went 11-5 with him. But
they have
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, my God.
They have possibly the best tight end ever in Rob Gronkowski to ever play the game. Okay, and Martellus Bennett. He's been a Pro Bowler.
All I'm going to say, Kyle, is Brady makes his wide receivers. I don't think Julian Edelman's that good of a wide receiver. He's a solid wide receiver, and he would be good on another team.
I can agree with that.
I'm just saying, all the other wide receivers, Tom Brady has made. Now, Rob Gronkowski is also different. So, you're putting Jimmy Garoppolo behind a horrible offensive line, a QB who has not even played in a regular season game, I'm pretty sure. You're going to put him lining up against the Arizona Cardinals defense, throwing to backup wide receivers. Now, I got Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman.
I have them having.
I think they're going to go 2-2, 1-3. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo. No, but Kyle, I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a bad QB. I think he can be solid. I'm just saying
he's not Tom Brady.
To say there's not going to be much of a drop-off. Tom Brady can make up for the Patriots' deficiencies on the offensive line when they had a trash defense a couple years ago for the weapons. So that's the difference that Tom Brady gives you. Tom Brady gives you the smarts, the makeup for that, and he's a leader.
Experience.
So there's experience. There's a huge drop off there. Now, I'm not saying they're going to lose every game because I still think they can beat the Dolphins or teams like that. But I'm hoping that they'll lose to the Cardinals. I guess I'll cheer for the Bills.
They will.
I'm just
cheer
saying.
for the Bills?
Because I'm more confident that the Bills are going to lose games this year than I am confident that the Patriots are going to lose games. We got to be cheering for. I mean, I always cheer against the Patriots, but we got to really cheer for 4 losses here. 4 losses is what we have to shoot for.
At least 2-2.
Well, at least. But if the Jets can come out of their first 4 games 3-1, 2-2, and the Patriots are sitting at 0-4. This is best case scenario. Let's say the Jets let's say the Jets are 4-0 and 0-4. That might just be a pipe dream. Kyle, that's huge. We could literally blow like half. Dude, we could literally blow a month of football and still be in the lead in the division.
Win the division.
That never happens to the Jets. So I'm just saying the Jets better give themselves as much of a cushion early on, and the Jets and the Patriots better lose their games. That's the reason the Jets have the best chance to win the division this year. Now, Rumi, before we let you go, because we have another call on the line, and we got to get to it, one of my favorites.
I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much of your time.
Oh, no, it's all good.
No problem. We enjoy having
Kyle's like molasses. He doesn't really move callers along. I'm the guy who has to move them on. Last question, Rumi. I have two questions for you. First question, what are the biggest keys to the game, and who's going to win the game by the score? And then I have another question for you. So I guess that's three questions.
Of course, I already said we're going to win the game. It's going to be close. I think it's a low-scoring game because of the defense. And it's going to be 20-17, Jets winning at home.
I agree.
Nice.
Now, what are the big keys to the game?
Big keys is going to be, we're going to be missing Sheldon Richardson at that game because he's suspended, but that's okay. We're still going to have Mo have a lot of sacks. We have a better player. Yeah, Mo's going to have a lot of sacks. I think our defense is going to outplay their defense. And, of course, Marshall's going to have a big game, too. He's hungry. And Fitzpatrick, too. He has something to prove out there because there's all those haters saying that he has a noodle arm and, we blew the playoffs last year. He does. So
hey,
I think
I love it when my noodle arm QB throws to a product of Peyton Manning for 6.
Right?
I love when that happens.
Yeah, right?
I can't
believe that. And then a Hall of Famer.
Last question, Rumi. And I asked the same question to Dylan from New York Jets Fans Only. What jersey would you buy of a player that you do not have already? Like, what would be the jersey you covet most that you do not already have? That was a weird way of asking.
Ooh, that's a hard one because I have Revis, Marshall. I got to say, I want to get Pryor.
Yeah,
I think he's going to have a good season.
Well, that good
I got to
stuff
go with
always...
defense. I was going to go with offense, but I'm going to change it to defense.
Yeah, hey, 25 is a pretty slick number. To have that Calvin Pryor the third on the back is pretty nice as well. Rumi, we'll make sure to tweet out your Twitter and stuff. Sorry.
Thank you. It's been fun talking to you guys. And
it's always fun talking to you, and I'm glad you and Kyle got to have a nice long debate. So thanks for calling in,
Wait, Rumi, before you go, I just want to let you guys know that there is a great Pryor engagement T-shirt available on NYJetsFans.
Great plug-in, Kyle.
What? I missed that.
Something like that. It's whatever their website is, Jay's website. So just go follow them on Twitter. You'll find it. Calvin Pryor engagement. It's a great shirt.
Oh,
if you want
yes, that shirt. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I have to get that.
Yes,
I got to
get
the Fist Magic shirt first, though.
Rumi, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
You like that little plug?
I thought that was pretty nice.
All right, Ben, I'd just like to talk about the Patriots again. I know this is a Jets show, but I would like us to present our arguments, and I'll start, okay?
All right.
I probably should have said there isn't much of a drop-off because, that's just in my mind. I don't think there will because Bill Belichick, in my mind, is the best coach to ever play the game. Now, is he dirty? Yeah. Does he cheat? Yeah. But he wins. And he wins a lot, okay? He will take, like you said, Matt Castle, a back quarterback, and make him into a 10-6 playoff quarterback. That's unbelievable, all right? Matt Castle is pure garbage. But you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, who I think is significantly better talent-wise and has significantly better targets. Matt Castle, he had Randy Moss, I believe, correct? That was the 2010 season?
Yeah, Randy Moss, Wes Welker.
Wes Welker when he was out of his prime. That isn't like 2008 Wes Welker when that dude was basically Julian Edelman on steroids. This is Wes Welker
aren't we talking about the Castle team? Aren't we talking about the Castle team?
Yeah. They
They're
caught him
2008.
in 2011.
I know. So I'm.
2008?
I know. Yeah. No. They cut him in 2011. Sorry, I thought you asked who was Matt Castle's weapons in 2008. It was Randy Moss and the amazing Wes Welker.
No. I'm just saying that now I think Ron Gronkowski, possibly the best tight end to ever play the game, will be there for Jimmy Garoppolo, who is better than Matt Castle. Then they also have Martellus Bennett, who, is a starter at tight end for almost every team in the league. Just think about that for a second, man. Their backup's a starter.
That's pretty good. Well,
and then you look at hold on. I had to open the slider door for a second, so I had to pause. But you look at their receivers. They're not necessarily great. Julian Edelman is a solid player. Do I definitely think he's been capitalized by Brady? Yeah, of course. That's what Brady does. You're right. Brady makes his receivers. But once he makes them, and then let me get my argument out, all right? You haven't even brought up the defense. This is the best defense they've had in years. This defense is a bunch of
I'm
solid
not
veterans.
arguing this.
Know
Kyle,
the system.
Kyle.
It will continue to make plays. They will go 3-1, and we will probably be 2-2.
Like
And then Brady comes back in.
Kyle, we have 10 minutes left, and I'm trying to bring on our last caller of the night, and we can have this discussion in a second. But we have a very special caller on the line, Kyle from New York Jets Supporters Club. Kyle, when I find your theme song, you will be on. Actually, just start talking, and then I'll find it in a second. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just off work.
Well, yeah, I could tell you're you've been on hold for like 20 minutes, and Kyle's just going off. I'm like, Kyle, I appreciate your point. And by the way, to properly introduce Kyle, here is is a great theme song by yours truly, or uploaded by yours truly.
Panda. I got broads in Atlanta, just to me in the family. Credit cards in the scammers, hitting the licks in the band. Legacy.
Kyle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Oh man, I just accurately predicted what you were gonna say. Was I on mute when I? Oh, I'm obviously not on mute. You guys paused. Did you hear me say I'm fantastic?
Nope.
Wow, I am Nostradamus. Wow. All right, I'm gonna.
Congratulations, Kyle. Girl, you deserve every cupcake that you have in your house right now. Okay, you probably don't.
I have 0 cupcakes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Okay, well, Kyle, let's jump right into it. Who's going to win Sunday and why? And then I'm going to give my answer because I haven't given mine yet. So who's going to win? And then we'll go to the. Okay, Kyle. I really, really liked it more when you weren't here, man. I'm just playing. I love Kyle, man. I mean, we go back and forth. We're still getting that chemistry down, but I feel like we're going to be in mid-season form here pretty soon. But Kyle Dominguez, I believe I pronounced that right. Did I get that right?
Nah, Dominguez.
Yeah.
You murdered the man's name.
Hey, come on. All right, Kyle, who's going to win tomorrow?
On Twitter.
The New York Jets are going to win tomorrow, and they're going to win because, it's 9/11 at home, and I think that's going to be a very emotional game, especially for some of the older guys that's been there during the attacks, like Revis, Mangold. I think, someone that's been there for a lot longer. And also, some of the older vets that know what it's like Brandon Marshall. And I really think that they're going to come out. It's going to be very emotional during the national anthem. They're giving out many American flags. It's going to be a very emotional moment. And then I think that's just going to translate on the field. They're going to play inspired. They're going to play to win for New York and all the first responders. And I just think that they're going to come out firing.
Yeah, that's been my point for a long time, and I don't know where Ben's at.
Yeah, I'm right here, Kyle. Kyle, I'm right here. I'm just taking it in. Well, yeah, I also believe the Jets are going to win, and like Rumi said, it's going to be a close, low-scoring game. The key to this game, well, no, but here's why. And look, I believe our defense is going to come out in full force. As we said, the only really weapon they have on the field. Now, they have Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard, so it's going to be up to Muhammad Wilkerson, Leonard Williams, Steve McClendon, and those young linebackers to shut down that. But if they shut that down, we got Revis who cancels out Green, and there's nobody to throw to. So if the Jets can shut down the run game, which I think they will do, the Bengals are going to put up many points. Now, the problem is the Bengals have a solid defense. They're missing one of their best players, but they still have some great players. Now, obviously, it was just preseason, but the Jets' offense didn't look great. Now, I'm not going to read too much into that. But the one thing that the Jets need to do is they have to get out to a fast start in offense. This can't be a game where the Jets' defense is dominating, and again, the Jets' offense 3-and-out punt, and the defense is still forcing 3-and-outs, getting turnovers, and the Jets are maybe kicking a few field goals. The key for the Jets is they have to get touchdowns. They have to play well. However, I don't think it's going to be an amazing performance. Now, a quick start is one of my keys. They have to win the turnover battle. We cannot have Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing interceptions. We need this defense, though, to be catching interceptions and recovering fumbles. And the last thing is as I said, and it's the 15th anniversary of 9/11. I think the crowd is going to be in it. So we want a loud crowd. We want an engaged crowd, somebody who's a crowd who's standing the entire game. And so those are the three biggest keys. And the Jets are going to win. It's going to be low scoring. By any means, this is not going to be an easy game. And I believe the Jets are more talented. But as I said, the Jets generally play down to the level of their opponents. This game will be close. I believe the Jets will still squeak it out, but I'm seeing like a 17-14, 16-14 type of game. It's going to be close. The Jets will squeak it out in the end. The defense is going to absolutely dominate. Ryan Fitzpatrick might throw a touchdown and an interception, but really it's going to come down to the offense to win us this game.
Ben, I don't know about that, man.
Amazing. Well, tell me why you disagree.
Don't. I think that, this team, like players like Fitzpatrick and Brandon, who haven't been in the playoffs, man, and all they've been hearing all offseason, no matter where they've been, is about Buffalo. From haters, from trolls on the internet, that's all they've been hearing about. They're ready to put this game behind them, and they're ready to smack the explicative out of whoever is next in line. And right now, that's the Bengals, and they're coming out. They're ready. They've been waiting all offseason to put that loss behind them. And this is going to be the first time on an emotional day where the crowd's going to be into it. The crowd, think about it, Jet fans are coming out of the bushes. I haven't seen this many Jet fans since Mark Sanchez was the quarterback when we were going to playoffs. The fans are into it, and it's going to be time. It's going to be an emotional day where a lot of people are going to be there, and they're ready, especially after how good last year was despite the ending. Fans are going to come in, they're going to be loud, and it's going to be like on how the Patriots game was last year where Tom Brady wasn't able to make audibles. It's going to be that type of a game where the fans are going to take over. They're ready to put the loss behind them. Everyone's going to come off playing with a chip on their shoulder. They've had it all offseason. They're ready to get it all.
I mean, I love what you're saying, man. It's been a long offseason. I mean, preseason is, your players get to play, but man, it's been a long time, and yes, I want the Jets to come out there and dominate. This is just my, my intelligent prediction. But however, I'm going to be cheering for the Jets. I'm going to be on my feet. I'm going to be screaming and clapping, and everybody in that stadium should be louder than I am. But I know they're not going to be because me during Jets games is frightening. Me during Jets games is frightening. I don't think there's a louder combination.
But will you be intoxicated?
No, I don't think there's a louder combination than me and my dad when the Jets-Patriots game is on. And after that Decker touchdown, man, we were sitting up and just watching the TV, and I just had this sense of calmness when they got to the line. And I was just like, the Jets are going to score right here. And they scored the touchdown, and I just went ballistic.
So did I.
So, dude, through the entire game, though, it could be a 2-yard run. I'm like the Gus Johnson of fans, bro. I go crazy,
man. You got to watch the game with me. I flip out on the formation. I think I know more than the coaches. Like, I will be yelling at the formations and who's out there before the play starts.
That's a run to the right guard. Run to the right guard. I mean, man, dude, we got to watch again sometime. I mean, I'm going to be at that Jets Sunday night game against the Patriots. I'm really looking forward to that. Please win it, Jets. And believe me, I'll be bringing the heat. And I'm really looking forward to that. Now, Kyle, sorry to cut you short, but we have a couple of last questions for you. What are the biggest matchups you're looking forward to seeing today, besides the Green versus Revis? Because we've gotten that answer. So a different answer than A.J. Green versus Darrell Revis.
Honestly, I'm not even really looking forward to that matchup too much because I think Revis is going to come out. He's someone else who's been, getting trolled all the time by victors of Sammy Watkins and DeAndre Hopkins. But I think that the biggest matchup is going to be the right tackle because it's not only the standpoint of trying to see if Quave or Ben Igelina could step up, but if they step up enough, I wouldn't be surprised if Breno doesn't make it back on the team. It'd be something good to have one of them step up, take the job, and then be able to release Breno and open up some cap for next year because Lord knows we need it. But that's one of the matchups. I think Fitzpatrick, just watching him again because, there's been a very shaky preseason, and we're just hoping that that's just preseason because it's very vanilla, and hopefully now that there's game planning and preparation that they'll come out looking very good. But those are the two big matchups I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, me too. And the thing that I'm looking forward to, as you said, I mean, that the weakest point of this team, in my mind, and I think that this is the weakest point. I mean, you could make the argument tight end, but as I said last week, which I don't think it was ever, it got deleted, so it never made this point publicly. But I mean, you could make the argument tight end's the weakest point of this team, but you can survive without a tight end. You can survive. We had Quincy Newton. We didn't have a tight end last year. We had Kellen Davis, and Quincy Newton, covered for those woes. But you can't win without an offensive line. Very rarely do you see teams win with just no offensive linemen. The Jets actually have a very capable starting five, and Brent Qualley, who's just, I mean, the Jets fans are going crazy. And Kyle Fahey just left for some reason. Okay. Anyways, Grant Qualley had one of the best performances in the preseason. He was ranked as the best right tackle in all of preseason. So I'm very excited to see the Ajelana-Qualley right tackle duo. Winters is improving. Mangold and Carpenter are just great. And if Clady can stay healthy, I'm really liking our offensive line. The key is depth there, but if everybody stays healthy, we don't really have to worry about that. We have our sixth man in either Qualley or Ajelana, depending on who's starting. I like Dozier. I know he didn't play too great. I like Wesley Johnson as a backup for Mangold because he's gotten a lot of starting experience. So just overall, offensive line is definitely going to be the biggest thing I'm watching for, especially against guys like Geno Atkins. If Fitz has... anyways, now Kyle... last thing before we let you go, I'm trying to think of one last good question for you, Kyle. We'll ask one just because. Yeah, okay. Sorry, my bad. Distracted by something. One last question for you, Kyle, though, and I've asked it to all our previous callers.
How dare you,
Kyle?
Ben?
Yeah, Kyle left the meeting by accident. Okay, anyways.
No, I didn't. It hung up on me, and then when I got back, it said it was locked. So I had to unlock it. How dare you?
Okay. Anyways, Kyle, what is one Jets jersey that you do not own that you covet?
Okay, now that's interesting because there's a few players on my short list. Like I'm gonna just quickly go over. I have Muhammad Wilkerson, Sheldon Richardson, Leonard Williams, Calvin Pryor, Lorenzo Malton, 2 Brandon Marshalls, Eric Decker, and Mangold. But something I got signed. Like I got a Mangold signed, Pryor, Lorenzo, so I can't wear those, and Marshall. So, but if those don't count, because it'd probably be Calvin Pryor, because I just love the way how he plays. When he lights someone up, it gets me fired up, and I go nuts. But if it's not one of those guys, it's easily Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love Fitzpatrick, man.
Yeah, I mean, Fitz is the man. I'm shying away from buying the Fitz jersey because I think he's more of a short-term quarterback, whether that's 1 or 2 more years.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Pryor is the guy I'm really targeting. If Screen puts in another great year, I'd like to have a nice...
Or Jordan Jenkins.
Yeah, Jordan Jenkins, man, I'm really excited to see him. But I think based off the number, like the coolness of having 25 as a safety, he's a cool player to like. I think if Darren Lee's good,
so I can't wait.
If Darren Lee's good, his 50 would be a nice number to have. Kyle, what's going to be the final score on Sunday, and who's going to win?
31-10, New York Jets.
Ooh, that is the same score as the Jets-Browns Week 1 game last year. Anyways, Kyle, thanks for calling in, man. We'll make sure to tweet out your Twitter, and have a nice night, man.
Because I don't know it.
That was Kyle, New York Jets Supporters Club. We'll make sure to tweet out all of that. And yes, just let me explain for a second. When we were bringing on Tyler, I accidentally stopped recording, and then I pressed recording immediately without even thinking again. Kyle, obviously it's my fault. I'm saying it. And so I had originally thought that normally when that happens okay, let's explain this for a second. You press record, we're talking, I pressed unrecord, and then when you press record again...
They're going to take over now, Ben. Pretty sure they already know our password.
Yeah, okay, whatever. When you press record again, I thought that deleted your original recording, so I was just beside myself texting Kyle, like, did I really just delete the Victor Green and New York Jets Fans Only Twitters? While Kyle, I realized Kyle hasn't been on the show for a while, so I'm already letting him talk to Rumi, and all of a sudden I'm just like, I'm going to call Free Conference Call. Which is the software we use. I called him. He said everything should be fine, and I see it. So we're all good. I'll edit the episode and make it nice and smooth if I can, but we will have all of those saved, and that was a big sigh of relief. All right, Kyle, time for our predictions. Who's going to win, why, score, everything. Let's just talk about everything for the last 5 minutes of this show.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's preview this Cincinnati Jets matchup for the viewers listening.
You want me? All right. September 11th, 2016, the 15th year anniversary of 9/11. One of the most tragic days in the United States history, and the day that we all came together as Americans and New Yorkers. The Bengals are extremely injured, while the Jets are not. The Bengals have people suspended who are considered elite playmakers on the defense. The Jets do not. The Bengals have A.J. Green. The Jets do not. but the Jets have Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Matt Forte. The Bengals do not. The Bengals have a decent running game. They are plagued by injuries, and this is just this atmosphere that you never want to be in. Final score, Jets win 28-9.
Wow, an odd number there. Yeah, I think the Jets are going to squeak one out. I'm hoping for a blowout. I would really like a very comfortable lead to start off the season, and a pretty game would be nice. But, I'm going to stick to my prediction of 16-14 maybe, something like that, 3 field goals, a touchdown. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to have a so-so game. I think the defense is going to look dominant. The Bengals team is banged up, have some suspensions, so it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to this. And, guys, football is back. We have not done an episode with a regular season football game yet, and I'm just so super excited. All right, well, Kyle, I think that's gonna do it. On that odd note, I'm very happy that big thanks to Victor Green and New York Jets fans alike for coming on the show. I mean, back to Victor Green's point. I mean, football's just a game, and he's doing something bigger than himself, and we just have to give all props. So please donate, and I'm actually mean that. I'm not just saying, go please donate because he's on our show. No, I mean it. Like, this is pocket change, guys. That could really change people's lives. And if, as he said, you get tax deductions or whatever he said, it's a good cause. It'll make your heart warm, and he's a great guy, and he's a former Jet. So please go donate there, and go follow New York Jets fans only on Instagram and Twitter. Our next week's show will be on Wednesday, I believe, Kyle, because we want to preview that Bills Thursday game, if I'm not mistaken. We haven't really talked about it too much. Yeah, I said Wednesday, my bad. All right, so Wednesday next week, so in 6 days, we'll be back talking Jets, talking about the Cincinnati Bengals game. We'll be previewing the Bills game. It's really nice to have a Week 2 Thursday night game because you get 2 football games in the span of 5 games.
We get that loss out of the way early.
Yeah, you get in the span of 5 days, you get 2 football games. That's pretty nice. As always, you can follow us at the Jet Take. I mean, look us up. We have a Libsyn blog page. It's thejettake.libsyn.org. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Stitcher, Periscope, obviously iTunes, SoundCloud. Did I already say Twitter?
Google Play.
Google Play. I mean, we're all over the place, so please follow us, and it means a lot, guys. I mean, it's a hard work, sitting down every Thursday and taking 2 hours of your day to do it. But I love it. And don't that made it sound like I was a burden. No, I love doing this.
Yeah.
And it's all because of you guys. The support we got in the last few weeks, surprisingly when it wasn't, or a few months, surprisingly when it wasn't me and Kyle together, but it's really, made me super happy. So guys, I really appreciate it. Please share this. We love and appreciate everybody. Kyle, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Well, good show, Ben. I think we had a lot of really good callers, and we had 2 really good interviews. Or on to Cincinnati, in the immortal words of Bill Belichick. I just came up with that at the time. I had no idea where that came from. I was not planning that. I was going to say
it's been a pretty popular tweet. Come on, you can't take credit for that. That's been a pretty popular tweet.
No, I'm not taking credit for it. I said it in the immortal words of Bill Belichick. But it just came to my mind, like, at that moment. I wasn't planning to say that. I was going to say...
we are on to Cincinnati, technically.
We are on to Cincinnati. We're a better team than Cincinnati.
We did not have as much banter as we normally do, but I miss this. I miss the banter of knowing I'm always right and you're always wrong. It's
we
like
should
a big
start
brother,
recording. I was right about the 4 quarterbacks saying Cambrell Tompkins. So
you got 2 things, Kyle. You were wrong the entire summer. Come on.
How was I wrong the entire summer?
Kyle, we gotta stop this podcast now. Thank you to all our listeners. We really appreciate you guys. As I said, go donate to Victor Green's charity. It means the world to us. And thank you to all you Jets fans for listening to this podcast. And we made it through the long, tumultuous 9 months.
Now we have stuff to talk about.
9 months since the last game. This is the chance for the Jets to finally redeem themselves for that putrid effort against the Buffalo Bills. This is the first game, the first opportunity the Jets have. And I'm really looking forward to it. So, guys, go Jets, baby. Hoping for a win. We don't want to start the season off on a bad note. We got to get these wins early on. But thank you to all our listeners. Please follow us. Please look us up That'll do it for us. I'm Ben Blessington alongside Kyle Fahey. We're going to leave you guys with the best chant in the NFL. Talk to you guys on Wednesday.